Yeah, it's the last best of one before we get into the meaty best of threes. And it's a good one to end on as well. We've got Big taking on G2. G2 certainly one of the favorites, if not the favorite, for this entire event. They recently had a second place finish in CS Summit where they bowed out in quite an unspectacular fashion. But we are getting into the pistol, at least we are, I think. Hunter's taking some time to leave spawn. For a second it looked like we might have had a problem, but it seems like everything is okay. And Kenny holding on in towards the apartments, pressure coming in from Smooya immediately.
Now, you can see a heavy stack from G2 towards the A-bomb side, and Big don't fully commit. They decide they want to rotate over after feeling it out and just not feeling it. Moving towards the B-bomb side, flashes go over, and they're just straight blitzing through. There's a smoke down in CT, which leaves Nexa isolated, and he has to back off a little bit and wait for his teammates to come in to help.
Tizian moving forward as the front man with a Glock, and close by is Nexa, but G2 just holding on, waiting for this retake to come through. You can see they haven't fully committed to it because Hunter's still aware there could be a possibility of a late lurk coming through, but Kenny is going to line up the first. Tamsin's dispatched with early. We're back into a 4v4, at least we were, before Tizian finds an important headshot. Kenny has gone. And now G2 moving through the last three remaining players, trying to get back into the bomb side. Tizian holding off, but cannot land the headshots. Nexa gets rid of him. Still, 3v3, Kit alive and Amanek, time to play with. Xanteris holding on, but run around the corner. It's Hunter with the headshot. Xanteris hits the deck. And that's only Nex and Smooya looking to just try and hold on, but the flash is good. The kills are in, and it's only one remaining. It's Smooya, left alone in Banana. The defuse coming through, taps away for the first. Hunter's going to be dropped as well, and he could get all of them, but the defuse comes through just at the final second. Smooya will get all the kills, but G2 find the pistol.
That's 1-0 to start us off now. G2 getting themselves out some weaker weapons just at the beginning. Kenny S on a FAMAS and SMG on Nexa. But you can work around this. Obviously, Inferno is one of the maps where we see the highest rate of force buys. It makes sense. There's so many close range angles to play from. And with 3 SMGs, there's plenty of money-making potential now for the counter-terrorists to work with. But Big have gone in for an SMG buy of their own, rocking in with 4 MAC-10s.
Yeah, that was kind of... The MAC-10s are definitely viable options, but we have so many of them. We'll see if they can get a shot. They go on through. Hunter is going to line up 2 kills, and Terrace and Tabson dropped early. 2-man advantage immediately there for G2, followed up with Hunter finding that kill. Next manages just the 1. So Tizian and Smooya left in a 2v4. Start to run back in towards Banana, but that Molotov comes in at the right time. So G2 clearly have the right read. Nexa just holding on, clears the logs in case there's already presence in Banana that has gone unseen. But Nexa jump spotting, sees both of them. Has the info the last 2 remaining players are, but he can't get out of dodge quick enough. Amanek holds on. UMP and CT spawn. Headshot. The lineup, 2 kills collected. 2-0 for G2.
They lose 2 players, which is going to hamper their buy for sure. It's a FAMAS and an SMG that's gone. One of their 2 rifles that's now disappeared from existence. It means that the investment into this round is actually going to be fairly significant, but with Big having 4 spot up in the previous, they shouldn't be facing all too hefty of an opponent. I like this here. When Hunter ran back, Kenny S swings out, baits for him because Hunter was only 7 HP, would have been very easily dropped by the MAC-10s as they ran around that corner. But Kenny sacrifices himself so his teammate can live, and at least they find a kill in the engagement.
Hunter goes up into the apartments, looking into a second mid. And will decide to fall back after. Just pistols here for Big. So G2 can certainly just hold these long range. Nexa does a little bit of damage with the UMP, doing a little bit of damage. But at this point, Big just looking to try and take some map control. They've got the apartments at least, so that's something they can play with. Getting on towards a choke point or a bomb site is certainly going to be very difficult indeed. They have no banana control, so they're kind of forced in towards that A side of the map. And they're not going too heavily. They're still playing it pretty slow as they finally start to gather their troops up towards top middle. G2 comfortable enough with the banana control that they've got, so they leave Nexa there, and they can stack a 4th player over in towards A. So with a minute left on the clock, Big certainly looking like they want to go in towards A. I don't think they're going to be finding too much success here due to the weapons that G2 currently have here.
Yeah, the fact that you've got a player tucked in close left as well. Kenny S ready to swing out if Amanek falls, and Amanek falls back. Now here's Kenny ready to catch them off. An M4 in play. You don't want to be losing that weapon, and so far he's not going out and just taking them on down. 2 kills on the board. Now he backs off, doesn't want to get overwhelmed by the pistols, but Amanek takes his place. Happy to gain a little bit of extra cash with the SMG, as is Jack sitting down in the pit. And this is really just an easy round to play out for G2. You don't expect much from Big. Their goal there, find some damage and get a bomb plant if they can. They drop 1 weapon. It's a small positive, but G2 still have a little bit of cash left in the bank. Hunter has to invest down. Everybody else is comfortable rebuying in the next round. So this is certainly a bit of an obstacle developing for Big. And if they don't find the damage in this round, if they only manage to kill 1 or 2 players, that's going to be a huge issue for them. Hunter's decision to take an ump as well leaves him with a little bit of extra cash so that he can invest should they lose this as well. Play it as somewhat of a bonus round.
Well, immediately Big, sending the utility in towards top banana, smoke in behind it as well. And Paris is just trying to feel like if there's a player close by, just wants to wait until that Molotov begins to fade. Smokes up, so Big now secured at least the car area, but good utility usage from G2 prevents them from moving off the back of the smoke. So Terra's held back. Can't really get too much closer. Big use another Molotov to clear the sandbags. Nexa dropping off in behind the smoke. Big certainly leaning heavily in towards the B-bomb site, only having 1 player positioned in towards second middle. 4 up in banana. And it has to be a big hold here, and it's a big kill coming through from Tabson. Hunter is going to fall. Now Nexa alongside Amanek have to use this crossfire to create a veil, but Xanteris has found an important kill, and Smooya cleans up Nexa. What a well-played round coming in from Big.
See, Nexa and Hunter were both towards the B-bomb site, which really doesn't help them out a lot. That's 2 UMPs on the hold, and they're taking relatively long-ranged engagements against Big. I'm surprised Hunter took the ump and didn't lean towards a FAMAS instead. That would have been a perfectly viable buy, leaving him just a little bit below Amanek overall on economy. But it would have given him a much better chance to play these angles. I mean, he was on either A long or rotating in and playing CT side of B. Both of those can be much more helpful if you've got a FAMAS instead of a UMP.
Ooh, he's close by to Tizian. He's not really in a position here, Tizian, where he can afford to lose his weapon, so he doesn't want to walk around the corner. Kenny would have the advantage there, so. Finally, Big will pick up their first, 3-1. Big, very well played in towards banana, very well thought out, execute in towards B. Clearing banana methodically, having the early smokes and early Molotovs. G2 had good utility usage as well, but they couldn't quite win the aim duels when it came down to it. So Big will be happy enough with that win. But like you said, G2, bit of a bonus in the last. They'll get a buy into this one. They'll have the AWP for Kenny S, the rifles across the board. Nexa taking a hit and dropping himself to a FAMAS, but that does afford him slightly more utility. So definitely when you're playing in towards B, you want to have as much utility as possible to hold off that banana area. As Antares continue to push forward, he's the front man. Nexa playing on the edge of the smoke.
A very important round for G2, not having much cash in the reserve should they lose this one. They're trying to take a bit more of an aggressive stance on banana, nading down, using up their utility. The Molotovs and frags already thrown, but eventually they're going to decide they don't want to stick around this area. They heard that as soon as those Molotovs went down, they were smoked on immediately, which means there's probably 2 to 3 players here. They don't want to be forcing that up just yet. They've got a rotate coming through on the back of the information as Hunter is here to help, this time with an M4 and Nexa obviously having a FAMAS, better than the 2 UMPs that they had before. But unable to maintain banana control, this is their issue. With the smoke down, they won't get any information on where Big are going, where the direction of the T's is taking this round, and that means that G2 leave 3 players towards the B-bomb site, even as Big approach the A-bomb site. Pushing back Kenny, he has to fall back after missing his AWP shot, and now Big have got a lot of map control. No information for G2 except that there was at least 1 player top mid, and they had previously been a banana.
Well, 5 players gathering up inside a banana. 30 seconds left for Big to execute in towards B. They found success there in the previous, but we'll see if they can replicate. Good hold here from G2, a good setup as well. Player up in the boost, the new box. Nexa holding close. And second oranges, but here comes the Molotovs. The fire comes in to clear the positions, but Xanterra is so quick on the initial kill, and Nexa can't do anything either. Big are finding these open engagements very easy when they walk into the bomb sites. At least they're making it look easy. That's Kenny S trying to play with a gap in the smoke, but no opportunities presenting themselves. And finally they do. Tabson swings, Kenny S takes that kill. And it's still 3v4. Chance here for G2 to get back into this bomb site after that frag from Kenny S. They'll start to move forward. Hunter getting a little bit aggressive now. He's trying to push up. He's the front man with a flash ready to make his way in towards banana. But I think G2 realized that winning this is probably a little bit too difficult, especially with the time ticking so far gone. So G2 back off, take one look at their economy, and they have to save these 3 weapons.
A good call by Big to rotate towards the B bomb site, knowing that as Kenny had just missed the shot on long and had to fall back, that it was quite likely that if they had rotated 1 to B, he would now be on his way back onto the A bomb site, so they had a better chance at hitting a weakened B defense, maybe even just the 1 player. But there were still 2 there, not that they faced too much trouble on the back of it. A timeout comes through. That's going to be a tactical for the CT side of G2. Understandably, at the moment they've got 3 weapons, 2 M4s and an AWP, but the most money they have is 2.9k on Hunter, and everyone else is between 2 and 2.3. It means you can't really buy up fully around these, but as we said, Inferno is a map which has really high rate of force buys.
Yeah, I think the main problem here for G2 is the fact that they just haven't been able to hold anything, right? They're big coming in, there's good utility usage from G2, but when big come into the bomb sites, G2 just haven't been able to win the fights. And that is certainly a big problem for this G2 side, especially since they don't lack firepower, right? They don't lack these individuals. They just haven't really got off to the greatest of starts. And I'm sure that'll come, but big so far, looking pretty solid when they've hit into the bomb sites in these last 2 rounds. We'll see if they can continue that into this next one as well. G2 bringing the AWP in, Nexa on the USP and only a smoke, so really starting to rely on this AWP of Kenny S and the rifles of Jax and Hunter to step up. Smooya peeks in towards middle. It's an interesting talking point, Smooya versus Kenny S on the AWP, right? 2 very different AWPers, I would say. We'll see if Kenny S can get anything done. Well, he's going to take damage and cannot land the shot, so has to back off. Goes in towards the apartments and repositions. A chance to drop Tabson. Moving forward, the boxes are keeping him safe. And alongside Xanteros, who's making his way up towards the top of Graveyard. So solid stuff here already from Big. They've seized control of the A bomb site. And G2 somehow have wormed their way out of this. So they'll sit back in second middle. Probably just save the AWP over into the next one again.
Whichever Smooya, though, he's still over towards Banana. He's exposed to top mid. I think he was visible to the CTs, but they didn't look down towards the bottom. Oh, this is awkward. Now Xantares comes out, has no idea that they're on top mid because Smooya should have been able to see that. Next falls right after, and it's a 3 versus 5. Time is a little bit too low. They're still actually pushing forward. They're on the bomb site. Tabson finds 2, but they've got to rotate back over. Big haven't got players close enough. The bomb is being stuck as we speak, and they've actually got it. No! Just in time, Tabson comes in to save the day. That was almost a completely whiffed round by Big. As the bomb explodes, Amanek falls, but that was ridiculous. Tabson saves the day with his pit position.
Yeah, milliseconds on the defuse from Jax. It's always one where you just kick yourself. And well, Hellcase, obviously, our official sponsors here. You can use the code ECC for some bonuses on your account. So head over to Hellcase and use code ECC for that bonus. So 3-3 is the scoreline. Round 7 coming up. Big, certainly looking a little bit shaky in that last one, but we'll see if they can recover and find a more convincing win here. G2 coming back into another buy, but again, it's weak. They have got some weaknesses that are quite clear in terms of the rifles and the SMGs they've got in play. Kenny S holding a more advanced angle from CT instead of playing back from spawn. He wants 1 pick, and he's got it. He might just go back for more as the Molotov sets up. Big will start to relocate in towards middle. Next, making his way in behind. And, well, Big have lost that man. So this is starting to look a little bit shaky for the mostly German side. They haven't been able to source a trade just yet. And they haven't really got too much map control other than Banana. So they'll probably go back in towards A. See if they can work this a little bit. And indeed, the smoke coming in towards the left side of brackets. Molotov to clear the cubby. But Amanek, he's about to get aggressive. The flash is in, but Smooya able to hit the shot. Amanek prevented from getting anything on that ambitious push. And Kenny S is going to hide in behind the coffins. Flash up. He's completely white. He'll reply with a flash of his own. Let's see if he can get anything done.
The shot's inside the smoke, but Kenny's now baited by it, unfortunately missing that shot and a molly behind him. There was literally nowhere he could go.
Well, bomb plant coming through. Big, you're going to get the digits punched in. Tabson's going to look in Banana at the right time. Jax is there. Alongside Nexa, they are starting to make their way up through Banana. Tabson just hiding on the sandbags. Flash around the corner. Nexa gets the kill. Really solid stuff. He throws another one. It's perfect. Nexa just mowing them down with the flashbangs. Kills coming through. It's only Smooya and Xanteres left alone, trying to hold off this retake. Nexa still has a kit, so there's still time to play with. But Smooya, he's already done so much so far, but he manages 3 overall in the round. And Jax, he cannot do anything. He has to fall away. Xanteres, he might just get the kill. Well, Jax will drop him. And there it is. Another run on the board for B, but G2 making it close at the end, but not enough time thanks to Smooya picking up some important kills.
The AWP not found in the end. Jax only able to save 4 with the M4. And Big with 4 rounds on the board now. I mean, they've come close, certainly in that round and in the previous where they almost threw it away versus 2 USPs. Here's a replay of the shot. The timing was perfect. As soon as he got flashbanged, it was like a frightened reaction to just shoot immediately. A really good round by Smooya taking those 3 kills.
Yeah, I think Smooya's going to be happy with that, right? And the fact that G2 still haven't really found that success, and it's been 2 rounds now where they've had an okay buy, I think that another pause is definitely needed from them. Just take a little time to chill, listen to Malik, let his input come through. And one of the best things about G2 at the minute is the fact that Malik has a little bit more control of the team right now, right? So you've got that guy who can just sit behind the team. He's got a lot of experience and can help Nexa with this new roster, this new project that is going to be quite alien to him in terms of having these 3 French players that have only played in French-speaking teams, right? And maybe except Amanek, who did play over in Misfits. But it is going to be a difficult challenge for an in-game leader coming into this sort of team, especially since you've gone from playing with Crazy, where you play against a lot of the weaker Tier 2 teams, to just constantly playing against the best teams in the world, right? So it's a complete step up. So far, Nex has been doing a good job. We'll see if Jax can swing into the middle. Tizian spam comes through at the right time. Good kill. Jax gone.
For G2, trying to make use of these pistols is proven to be pretty difficult. Big just moving together, making sure that they're not giving any opportunities towards them. They're abandoning the apartments towards the A-bomb side, evidently wanting to take B. You can see Tizian regrouping with his teammates on just 11 HP. He's got to be playing support, really. With the flash in hand, he'll be able to flash the team through as they move towards the B-bomb site. You can see Amanek is already rotating up to A after noise being made by Nex. And this has proven to be very successful. But the only problem here for him is that he's alone outside the A side as he throws utility over. But if they decide that they want to push this and they want to try and catch them off guard, Nex will be in a lot of trouble because he has no support whatsoever.
That's exactly what's happening. Kenny is just going right in towards him. Nex still somehow deals with it. Says live at 2 HP, but still damage being done by Big. Nexa steps in with the Deagle. Coming in on towards Tabson, 2v4. Not exactly winnable here for G2, but any damage that they can grab is enough. Hunter picks up Nex, and finally Nex will meet his demise as Hunter backs off to save the M4 into the next.
Nex is a very brave man. He got shot at by a pistol, dropped down, and was
Still
like,
tried to
I'm
smoke.
still going to throw this smoke, though. Like, if you don't mind, real quick. Then I'll deal with you.
Fair play to him. He did manage both. So
yeah, he probably told his team, I'm going to smoke this. And then he was like, well, I can't lie. You know?
yeah, exactly.
I've got to smoke it, bro. Well,
Hunter looking to just save this M4. He's in a position where he should be able to do so. And well, Big, 5-3. This is a good start from Big. This is exactly what you want to see from this team. Obviously, G2 have just come from Los Angeles after they were playing in the CS Summit tournament. So quite different time zones, Malta and Los Angeles. So
I know. I think Kenny was saying he's been up since like 5 a.m. because he just can't sleep with the time zone change. Because it's one day, right? They arrived yesterday, so it's not going to be easy to work with.
Yeah, and exactly. They came into yesterday as well and went straight into media. So Big have been here since the 16th after they got back from DreamHack Seville. Wasn't exactly the greatest performance there, unfortunately, from the team. They managed to lose the Movistar Riders 2-0, but we've seen Movistar showing up today against Eds. And they also lost to North, who were the eventual winners in the tournament. So Big did not pick up a single map at their last tournament. We'll see if they can change that. And what a way it would be to do so, right? Up against a team like G2.
That would be one hell of a confidence booster for these guys early on. And the T side moving up towards the A-bomb side. You can see utility already being thrown out, pushing back there. Hunter's being forced off of long, and they've lost Kenny S with no trade potential.
This is just a perfect execute from the boys on B. You know, you have every avenue covered off. They push through the apartments at the right time, catch off G2, and again, they're falling away. They can't deal with this. G2 backing off and having to save in towards the B bomb site. Big. They just get 2 kills, and it's immediately over. The money from G2 hasn't been in a good way at all throughout this game. So they're all constantly up against the ropes, constantly having to save. And that's probably the most frustrating style of game you can play, right? You never get that money in your bank.
And look at Big. They're just running around trying to hunt these down. They know there's not a lot of money on the CT side, and the more damage they can do, the better. There's another player here. Nexa doesn't know that, so he gets cut off by Smooya. And leaving over towards, I mean, Hunter's far enough away that he's safe, but Amanek might not be so much as he gets headshotted by Zantaras. That closes out the round pretty much. I don't think anyone's going to be close enough to be getting near Hunter. 6 rounds on the board for Big. 1 weapon save forward for G2. Not a lot of money to invest into this one. Hunter could drop one over, but you wouldn't have a lot to work around it.
I mean, you can go for a little half investment here and have enough to cause a problem and be potent, but you definitely want to save the majority of your cash as you move into the next one. So Big, taking a look at their buy again, it's just so good, and their money is growing exponentially. There's 10K on Smooya. That does change as soon as he buys the ult, but 10K before purchasing.
It's just pistols they're going for. I was thinking, you know, a potential buy there is like 2 guys take FAMAS and then drop it to the others, but
I think pistol arm is fine. I think
on Inferno especially.
Yeah, I think they just need to get that utility and the weapons into their hands. I think G2 is certainly in a good position here to at least do some damage with the pistols. You can see some of these gimmicky setups. You know, you have the crossfire established towards top middle, the iron hole, the clothesline, we could say, between Kenny and Jax.
They're at nice angles as well, so they, even though they're crossfire, they won't be shooting each other when the guys run through.
We've seen a ridiculous amount of team kills today.
Team kills, suicides, it needs to stop.
That's the first day of a tournament for you. Well, Big, ready to go around the corner. Utility up, flashbang in. Amanek looking to try and hold on, but he's overrun. Zenteras with the headshot drops him off the top. And they're inside of the site already as G2 try to start putting players in towards middle. Tizian able to hold on, but only 1 kill will come in for him. Nexa just domes him with the deagle. It feels like I've been seeing a lot of kills from Nexa, but they haven't been that impactful. You know, he's found a few kills here and there, but nothing really being done off the back of them, unfortunately.
I mean, it's still solid for G2, the fact that they're able to find 2 rifles to exit this round with. Nexa can stick around and see if he can land even a little bit more. He's actually looking towards the A site, just securing that part of the map, keeping the information so the other players with the rifles know where to look for exits. A big bail back. You know what I think would be interesting? If we had, you see the way you can see, obviously, the player cams? There should be like a separate part where we can see just after they die. You just see the cam as they die for like 2 seconds. See the face palms, all that sort of stuff.
Well, we luckily, at a lot of events, we get to see sort of the replay reactions, right? Because you have a replay observer that's watching their cams, and we get to see that. But yeah, I think it's always fun to see when when players do die in a funny fashion or whatever. But
especially with all the
especially today,
shenanigans today, that would have been good.
But taking a look at the buys, finally G2 will get a good one through. It's going to be Kenny S on the AWP. The rest on rifles, and AK obviously saved over as well. So G2, they've only posted 3. They were competing earlier on, immediately off the get-go, but since then Big have found their stride on the T side. Oh, good peek from Kenny S, straight in towards Banana. This is what I like to see. A change in pace, some confidence from Kenny S, taking the fight to Big, stopping them from taking that Banana control. And that's something Big have gotten very easily, pretty much every round, right? They've just been very methodical in the Banana approach, but the reply is immediately taken in towards the apartments.
The bomb's still going down for a peek in Banana. It's a little bit risky. They're going to move up towards the side again. Smoke's going over. Only 2 players here for G2 as they move towards long. Hunter's already backed off. He's stuck behind a smoke, but the instant reaction from G2 to push down Banana is going to completely box them in. And Big are just stuck in middle. Bomb dropped up behind. It's retrieved, but they literally have nowhere they can go without taking fights.
Yeah, I like this call from G2, just go aggressive in Banana, but there's a slight gap, and Zenteras with the scope can see clearly through it. Jax lines up 2, though, and that's the final nail. It's over here, unless Tizian can pull off an incredible 1v4. As he goes back in towards B, it's empty, so this is the chance. MTP bomb site, Bowman is back. He wants to start to clear these positions, but there's so many to clear, and that gives time for Kenny S to rotate over, and Tizian, he hasn't taken his opportunity to get in the side, but Kenny can't land the shot. Tizian still taking fights. This guy's a madman, staying in the open for so long. Smoker's in towards CT. Nexa coming in from Banana. Tizian hasn't got time to get into a good post plan, so he needs to win this fight against Nexa. First step done. He's picked up the headshot. Now 3 more to find, but he's taking significant damage as well, and that's a problem. But the second comes through. Doesn't expect Jax to emerge from the smoke as well. G2 finally get another one on the board.
It's taken a while, but maybe now we're in gear. A 4th on the board for G2, saving forward an AWP on Kenny and the AK-47. But for Big, they are not worried about potentially having an eco, not for 2 more rounds at least. You're looking at a position right now where they've got 10K on some players. And realistically, with the fact that we've seen so much success from them, that was a little bit of a messier round, but they still managed to get up towards the bomb site and recover it somewhat. I'm not feeling confident for G2 putting up many more figures.
Well, we'll see if they can do so. It's Big on the rifles. AWP out for Smooth. It's going to be aggression from Hunter straight down towards middle. Flashes up Tizian just sits back in second middle. Good peek. It was one player from the window and Hunter in towards second mid. So Tizian's there on his own, right? So he adjusts his crosshair to the player up in the window. You get a player just swinging it below you. Very difficult to react quick enough. Amanek burns alive Tabson, and immediately we're off to a good start from G2. Got to be a stellar reply from Big as they start to come on through. They've only got 3 players inside the banana. No real other options but to commit to this. Molotov goes pretty damn far. So KennyS is allowed to stay on top of the coffins, and that might just be the demise of Smooya. And in fact, it is. KennyS gets rid of him so quick on the trigger. Hunter darts through the smoke. Xanteras picks up 2 kills, make it 3 from Xanteras. What is this? Out of nowhere, Xanteras gets it done. And now Big have the bomb site. They've also got a chance to pick up an 8th round off the back of Xanteras. It was set on the desk. He hasn't really lived up to it, but this is stellar. He needs to do it all. It has to be the ace clutch. They're aware of a possible position. First headshot. Can he get the second? Oh. So close. And Jax will pick him up. 4 kills from Xanteras, but it's all for nothing as G2 will get a 5th on the board.
That was a curious situation when whoever it was pushed through the smoke from CT. Kenny, I think, took his knife out and just ran to try to get into dark. What I had imagined would happen there is player pushes CT, Kenny peeks with the off to give some firepower. So yeah, look, he had his knife out there, right?
This is what I wanted to see though. Xanteras is dealing the damage on 3. So close to dropping the 5th player as well, but oh, there we go. That has to be one of the most frustrating rounds you could ever have. Xanteras so close to picking it out for his team single-handedly, but you've just got to move past it. It was last round. Let's move into the next one. G2 have 5 on the board, still big lead. Their money is still good enough as well. KennyS holding up towards top middle, execute through it. Another great kill from Xanteras, who is showing no signs of stopping until Hunter put a bullet through his brain. KennyS taking away Tabson, and we've got a man advantage here for G2. Big starting to relocate back in towards Banana is the immediate call. They'll run forward, trying to get in behind the half wall. They'll clear all of these positions. They don't want to waste any time. Amanek blinded, sits back, and well, Tizian's going to swing the corner. Headshot connected, 3v3.
Bomb plant going down now for Big. G2 have to wait quite a while for Jax to get up Banana. But they're still pushing forward. Hunter trying to clear out the close corners. He's in a little bit of danger for next, though. And it's an off angle as well, not even tucked fully in. So it's hard to clear that on time. Next down to 13 HP, and Tizian on 50, so it's still doable. Jax has to take these fights successfully, though, to start us off, or G2 will be saving.
Yeah, Jax has a nade. That might be enough to drop next. Oh, there it is. The slam dunk comes through, but KennyS has been dispatched with, so it's all on Jax alone in the 1v1. Has to go for the defuse immediately, just sticking it. He's not off it. Pros don't fake. Jax nearly getting it done. I think the time might just be too far gone, but it might be milliseconds in it. Jax should have it, and just at the last few seconds, Jax pulls it off, comes off the defuse, and Jax will get 6 on the board for G2. What a clutch from Jax.
Yeah, that's a successful clutch, and he almost had one earlier on. You remember when he got all the kills, but just didn't have time to go for it.
I mean, he's currently 13-5, and you would say it hasn't been great for G2 so far. So a big performance from Jax. And for me this year, he has been one of the most impressive players. That it's kind of strange because he's quite old, right? He's like 27, and he's come into this G2 team and had his first big breakout year, and he's been incredible.
And we were just talking about on the desk, Amanek dropping in performance. Kenny's just found 2 kills. Yeah, 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah, 1 bullet, 2 kills. KennyS lining them up. That's a perfect start coming in from G2 as Tabson tries to barrel through the smoke. Nexa with a headshot. And this is falling to pieces now. Big, they had such a strong lead. They had such a strong showing. But G2 are starting to warm up. Tizian alone in a 1v5, Mitch, not getting this done.
Really frustrating for Nex running through that. They smoked the Molotov and just couldn't, it didn't fully cover the Molotov, so he ran through, started to take so much damage, and then running into that gunfight, he was dead before it even started. 7-7, tied up, and we're looking at G2 definitely bouncing back. It's a huge recovery from them. Again, now Amanek's really been struggling. Look at that shot.
Yeah, that's the thing about Banana. When you go in with the AWP, yeah, it can be risky sometimes. You go into peak early in Banana, you can be met with a lot of nades to your face. But when you get the reward like that, they can line up, and you can get 1 bullet, 2 kills, collaterals coming through. But finally, Big, forced to call a tactical pause is certainly needed. They have lost all control, and G2 in prime position to steal away the lead at the half.
Let's be realistic, though. 7 rounds for Big is perfect. If they lose their T half, you're not going to be crying for weeks. But the situation that they had such a strong lead, it's falling apart a little bit. G2 are starting to look a whole lot better. Now, granted, you can't expect every single round to find a collateral kill down Banana to start it off and box them off, have guys running through Molotovs. Like, a lot of stuff is going wrong for Big. But even in the rounds that G2 have lost, they've managed to keep them close for the most part. There were maybe 4 rounds in a row where they struggled, but then you've seen Jax attempt those clutches come really, really close. You've had Xantaras having to try to basically ace the round to win it. You're relying a lot on individual performances, and then when you switch over to the CT side, I think Big are going to struggle a lot more than they are right now, because they won't have the space to play around those individuals as much.
Well, Smooya's got off to a good start, winning the battle against Kenny. That's a much-needed fight that Big needed to win. He got rid of one of the most impactful players, but there's that risk I was talking about. When you go in towards Banana for that early peek as an AWPer, Smooya was quicker this time on the draw. An advantage on the T side. Good damage done from that nade onto 4 players, though, over on Big. They can slow the play down a little bit as they start to run back. G2.
They've cleared Banana completely. They smoked the bottom of it, pushed down, and now they're going back, leaving Amanek solo. Nex is on the rotate, and this is a stacked up A defense.
The thing is, Amanek's also further back. You know, he can rotate quickly from the B bomb site back over towards A. In fact, not anymore. He's went to the very back of the B bomb site itself. So if Big were to go back in towards Banana, G2 wouldn't exactly have that information available, but Big are certainly committing in towards A. Wrapping long, Nexa holding the archway. A possibility for Big to move through here, but Nexa would look to try and hold on as Tizian is the front man. Multiple players coming his way. Nexa needs to line them up using the cover of the pillar. He manages to, and that is enough. Now the pressure falls on towards Amanek. He needs to hold the back of the bomb site. He's positioned this so well. G2 have a good read of this.
Big actually not splitting up through Banana either. They've left Nex down the very bottom. Eventually starts to move just at the wrong moment. I think Jack's caught a glimpse of him, and he's coming up behind. Hello! And hello? Good night. Eventually, it took a while, way past his bedtime, but Nex is eventually put to sleep. Taps him, picks a headshot, and that's going to be a bomb planted. G2 now in a 2v2 retake.
That's such an important kill for Tabson to find. Smooya gets the timing as well, and towards Jax, he nearly drops Hunter as well. A 1v1, Hunter versus Smooya. They know exactly where each other are, and Smooya is quick enough. And it's 7-half. Big will lead at the half just by 1, a good showing, but it is time for a break. We'll see whether or not G2 can pull it back, or if Big can close it out. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the second half. It's G2 trailing behind just by 1. A pistol pickup is very important for the new international roster. Big have shown up in a big way today, and really impressive start on their T side, but they did let it slip slightly. They could have led by more, but they want this pistol. They want this pistol to pick it up and go forward.
Yeah, they had a giant streak of rounds, which really must have upset G2, but eventually the comeback was there to bring it up to a somewhat respectable scoreline. But like you said, Dinko, we need to see this pistol round go into G2, and we started off with a smoke and 2 flashes for Nexa, as they're coming up second mid to begin it. Going to look to take the fight on top. And how are Big approaching this on the defense? Just crossing over mid, no aggression to come down just yet, but they need to move quickly. Create a little bit of space, indeed they do, because they're about to be pushed up.
Yeah, pushing up already. G2 have control towards top middle. And Jax is going to be pushing in towards the site player on the back lines as next. One kill from Smooya coming in. Jax will hit the deck off the back of it, but Hunter is able to keep it even. So 4v4, Smooya forced back in behind the smoke, and Big are going to have to play this on retake. They haven't got a kit available. They have got utility, though, to try and get back in towards this site to limit some of these positions. Getting rid of these pit players is such a big problem because Kenny S is just sitting in behind it. Smoke goes up to cover off his spot. He will peek just before it blooms, and Tabson will take the headshot. Good kill coming through as Nexus stands in the middle of the bomb site. Flash into the air. It deals with him for a few seconds, but he manages one. Amanek and Hunter also picking up frags, and G2 will find the pistol.
They needed it, and they got it. 8-8 now, tied up. They're able to get their full buy on the board, but will Big force buy? Well, I wouldn't presume so. On the CT side with 2K, they'll be able to buy up in the next round. And so far, they haven't been a team that like to go uber aggressive like that.
Well, definitely going for the more conservative approach seems so far. G2 should be having this in the bag easily enough. Luckily, they've brought 4 MAC-10s to the party, so a lot of money should be picked up for the G2 side. And they need this good start coming into the second half.
In a round like this, I really don't want to see Hunter get a kill. I don't want to see him entering, which he's currently doing. Because, like, if you're buying 4 SMGs, you need to get every kill with them, and it's still not a good return on investment.
I think it's fine in the position he's in at the minute, just for the logs, but I agree with you in the fact that when you get to these close corners, the MAC-10 should go around the corner first. I think that's the idea here behind this, is set up Hunter up on top of the logs in case there's a player close by. He can pick them off easier and quickly with the AK.
Sure, but then you don't get the return on investment for buying the MAC-10s. You end up walking into the next round where Big a full bot, you've got MAC-10s to play with. That's not going to be a good situation for you, and you'll get very few kills more than likely from it, leaving Big to build up more cash, and you again get no reward. Like, it's worthwhile taking that round in the next, so long as you get at least 4 kills with those SMGs, maybe 5. The AK to me in this situation is a last resort. And it's also the only player on bottom mid playing by himself, being pushed by pistols, and he's dead.
Well,
and they've picked up an AK.
Hunter, he does fall after the 1 kill. Tizian will take him away on the pistols, but next still looking to clean up with the MAC-10. 2 kills coming through off the back. Amanek will get the rest, and the cleanup is in. They can recover that AK very swiftly. On towards the T-Stars, 9-8. G2 will find themselves in the lead by 1. But this is their chance now, Big, to try and step up. They've got the investment coming into this. Actually, instead of going for the full buy, I like this decision. I mean, they're going to save a lot of money moving into the next. They know if they buy here, they wouldn't have got that AWP, they wouldn't have had the utility in a huge plethora. So the fact that they're going for a half investment in terms of a little bit of Kevlar sprinkled in alongside upgraded pistols, allows them to have that money moving into the next round.
So this is actually great for G2 because it gives an opportunity for those MAC-10s to farm even more money. Nexa got 3 kills, so he's able to upgrade to that AK afterwards as well. So this is fine. G2 now end up in a much better position than they could have been in. Had Big have force bought up, or fully bought up, even utility limited, they would have a good chance to just shut down the Frenchman. But now we're looking at a much better position. G2 slowly creeping up through Banana. You're looking at Xantares with a Deagle attempting to open this. Now, if they can find 2 kills, that's good for Big. In a position like this, they'll keep the money modest, but it's just the fact that those SMGs can shred everyone. On the CT side, no head armor for Smooya or Xantares, and the others without any at all. They'll be torn apart by the SMGs.
Well, Kenny S pushing up in towards the archway, starts to rattle shots as he heads through the smoke. Smoke up on towards Long as Jax holds in. Next on his left, player on his right as well for this MAC-10 to start to really pick up that cash. Nex has hit the deck. Jax is looking for Tabson as his next victim as well. And there we go. Smooya with a pistol, drops the low HP of Kenny S. Tizian coming in with a Deagle headshot as well, but Amanek manages 1 on the MAC-10. Smooya still alive somehow on 1 HP. Has a MAC-10 to work with, but he has to back away at this point to find a better position, hoping that they chase after him, but there's no need for G2 to do so. Big moving into the next will have to upgrade this MAC-10 anyway, so it's not like they're bringing too much into the next other than the Kevlar that's on board.
No need for them to hunt, and no possibility for it either. The fact that they've already lost 2 weapons, you cannot afford to lose any more at this point. They at least managed to net 3 SMG kills, so that is a bit of extra cash. The disappointment for them here is that those 2 players disappear away. Now, yes, you're saving forward your 2 AK-47s, but if Jax was to find both of these kills, for example, that would be a nice little Christmas bonus for him. A Big steal away a little bit of cash, and of course the 2 pieces of Kevlar for the next round. And you can probably gamble and not upgrade that, and not take the head armor, the helmet. Alongside them being the armor has been, let me confirm, it's been damaged. 63 and 87, yeah. So the armor's been damaged over on Big, so they would cost them full 1K to buy it. Xantaras does. Smooya hasn't just yet. There's only one Mac 10 that you know of, and it's unlikely they buy another SMG, so it's a fairly minimal risk to take it, to just leave the helmet.
Well, double up setup for Tabson and Smooya. The sniper's available. The 3M4A4 is there as well as the Terra's next and Tizian. Over here on G2, they look to try and find a little bit more success on some of their weaker weapons. But we'll see with G2 have anything up their sleeve. The battle of Banana is certainly commencing as Utility is tossed left, right, and center. Kenny S looking to try and find this opening option, but he takes damage from the nade. More so Hunter, though, as the nades keep coming in. It's just grenade after grenade, artillery fire coming through. Kenny S takes damage, can't quite spot the player up on top of the balcony. It's Tizian raining hellfire on him. Smoke starts to fade. Amanek is going to try and clear this close corner.
Just saw the call coming through from Amanek. There's one pit. He heard the player drop down, so they know they can't really pressure all too well from short. And on the back of that, they decide to fall back, look to see what's happening in the Banana at the moment, where Tabson's holding down on the AWP. He's got to maintain a more aggressive position. As that flash comes over, though, he's ready to take a kill. Now bails on back. Everybody's low. He's sticking around. Okay, better decision made to fall back. And then you got Xantaras on the rotate through to help out on the M4. G2 are now left with their pants down. They've got nowhere to really go, no favorable fights. And everybody low, with the exception of Amanek.
Yeah, G2 starting to back away from B again. They tested the waters, but it feels like at this point, Big would have reinforced the defense, and they're correct in saying so. So this is where the executing towards A can be very potent indeed. There's two players inside of the pit that they're going to have to deal with. Tizian in towards the mini pit, and next towards Big pit. So we'll see if they can hold on here, Big, as they start to wrap. G2 going in towards Long, smoking off the archway and pushing in through Long. Good positions to deal with Smooya finding that initial kill. Now Nex is the only player left inside of the pit, and he's cleaning them up. That's 2 great kills from him, and Smooya's assisting in the demise of G2. It's only Kenny S with 3 seconds left on the timer. He has to make sure he stays alive and carries this up into the next round. And Big, they will find another 10-9. This is certainly shaping up to be a very close game.
It absolutely is, keeping it tight. But Big taking that round and carrying forward the double op setup looks very good for them. G2 are not in the prettiest of positions when it comes to their financial statements. They've got themselves, obviously, the one weapon saved over. Amanek's going to be able to buy up, so you'll have full rifles to work around it. But should they lose this one, then things will start to slip out of their grasp. The same goes for Big, though. Nex is even down on $100, which isn't the best.
Well, Tabson close corner. He does find Kenny S, and while Tabson is showing, then he can be a great secondary offer for the roster. Next, he'll find the headshot. Hunter follows up. Now the B bomb site is completely open. Great kills coming in from the 2 new players added to the G2 roster.
I like the reaction. We're leaving Amanek sitting outside the apartments of A. So he can catch them when the rotate's over. Jax just expends 1 flashbang to cross over on mid safely, and they know they can get to the B bomb site. Jax also has a smoke to re-smoke down at CT, and that will be easy pickings. Amanek has been found up close left, though. It's in a little bit of danger. Molotov'd out by Smooya. Pops it on this. I thought that was still alive, and he was going to get burned. Gets naded, gets shot by a knob. There's no way out of that for him.
Look how much utility Big had to use just to clear that one.
And look how much time they wasted as well. That could have been them all the way, like halfway up Banana by now. But they spent so long dealing with him that they can't even go for the retake.
Yeah, it seemed like they immediately went for the save call anyway. Once G2 dropped those 2 players in towards B, Big were too far gone. And retaking that B bomb site, having 3 players over towards A is going to be very difficult. So Big saving the weapons is the only real option here. And G2, they're not in an economic position where they're really capable of hunting these players down. But Nex is still having a little go, see if he can spot 1 or 2. But doesn't want to overextend too much. So 11-9, a crucial round win coming in from G2. You know, they stopped that momentum from being built on Big. They found success early on, but they've let it slip this time. 11-9 on the board. G2 coming in this one with a solid buy again, but Big feels like their last stand approach here. They haven't exactly got enough money in the bank after this, so they have to try and win it, and they have to win it convincingly.
Yeah, indeed. That was a swing round just there because everybody had such low cash. Luckily, Big are able to save those weapons, affording them a buy, but like you said, this is the last legs of their economy. G2 are going to run away with a heavy lead if they don't find this.
Ooh. Well, that's a change in pace from Amanek. Mac 10, obviously high mobility allows him just to throw himself at them. a good opening pick as Antares has been dropped. And G2, that's exactly what they want, right? You throw the weakest weapon, the expendable player, in towards Banana, and Amanek walks away with success. Now G2 have control of Banana. They also have control of the apartments. We'll see what Jax can do. This is going to drop back in towards the pit. Smooya has been delivering quite a bit of impact across the board, but he needs more in this position as they start to come in towards him. He's holding off towards long. He's not actually fighting that mid-angle, more recessive, and while the smoke's coming through, realizes that G2 are approaching. They've just dropped next as well, so things are getting far more difficult for Big as they are starting to lose these duels consistently across the board. Now Tabson and Smooya have to save the double-up setup into the next one. G2 will go to 12. And for me, this just looks super easy for G2. You know, they're winning a lot of these aim fights, just walking in and taking the fights and walking away with no one being traded. So Big definitely running into problems now.
Yeah, this is really disappointing for Big. Saving over those 2 ops at least, but it's a very small positive. Not much to buy around them. G2 steamrolling them in that round, and indeed just in recent memory, this T-side is looking a whole lot better. And it's exactly what I was saying at halftime, or just before halftime, that I felt Big would struggle a lot more when it came to the CT side, where they're not able to give their players as much space. They're kind of at the mercy of G2, playing it slow and giving them space, and that's certainly not the approach that's coming through right now. They're being caught off guard and losing these rounds. Maybe it's time to adapt, time to change strategy. They've got cash to get an investment with the 2 ops saved, just about saved. Tabson can drop over. Smooya can maybe give a FAMAS if things get that desperate. But I think Next can buy for himself, so we shouldn't be in too much of a rough spot, really.
Yeah, well, definitely this pause is needed from Big.
Yeah.
Things have been looking a little bit rough, and they have a decision to make. Do they want to invest? Smooya can certainly drop, oh, actually, Tabson, more so, can drop over towards Tizian, and they can get a really good buy into this. But it's more the problem of finding a way to set up on the CT side that actually gets you success. You can see perhaps some of the tilt starting to set in the roster as well. They are a very emotional team. They have very emotional players. When things start to go wrong, can they pull themselves out of that hole? Another pause coming in from Big. As soon as it finishes, they use up another one. And I think this is a good way of doing it, right? You just stack the pauses together. You're really starting to feel the pressure, perhaps, and you can just take a little bit of time, let Toby talk to them. I was actually speaking to Tabson yesterday about the addition of Toby as their coach and how he's been helping the team. And he feels like he's just brought a lot of experience to the team in terms of life experience as well. Sure. You know, fixing the team environments and the atmospheres, and when people start to get tilted, he's very good at sort of bringing that level head back. So that's definitely what's going on here. He's definitely having a conversation with the team, getting them back on track, and Big, they need this.
There should also be a much more relaxed situation over on the Big side. They know that they're against G2. This is not a team that they're expected to beat any given day. I mean, at the moment, even domestically, they're not the best German team as a majority. German Sprout are literally above them in the ratings at the moment.
In the rankings, correct, yeah. But I actually brought that up with Tabs yesterday. And he definitely doesn't feel that way, personally. But the stats don't lie. I think the numbers say otherwise.
If you're on top in the German scene for years and years, and then all of a sudden you drop down to outside the top 30, someone else above you, you're going to be like, this doesn't make sense. This isn't true. But unfortunately, I think you got to live in a dream for it to be false. But yeah, like the thing is, I feel like there shouldn't be as big of an issue with tilt or anything like that against the likes of G2. Yes, they had a decent first half, but at the end of the day, you should be feeling somewhat comfortable in the fact that there's no pressure on you.
So we've actually got a little bit of a technical pause coming through, so hopefully we get that fixed pretty quickly. G2 are currently 4 away from victory, and if you are just tuning in, Big got off to a pretty good start. They were looking good on their T side. Coming into the second half, though, that's where G2 took their stride.
The players taking a moment to just talk amongst themselves, very politely.
Yeah. Well, G2, obviously coming into this event, they did have a pretty weak showing in the grand final against Mouse Sports, which was probably one of the strangest grand finals I've ever seen. You know, they come into it, you see Mouse Sports pick up the map 1 win, come into the second, Karrigan has to leave to go to another event, and they're already playing with NATO Safix as a stand-in instead of Voxic, right? Coach, they win the second map 16-1 G2. They look very comfortable. Third map, though, Trade goes completely against them. they end up losing to a coach and another stand-in. So that definitely has to be pretty tilting. But overall, you've just got to be positive in terms of the result. You made it to a grand final. There's a lot of good teams there. Moving forward, you're starting to see that these results are improving slightly. So G2 certainly should be feeling confident enough coming into an event like this, where you don't have the likes of Mouse Sports, you don't have these top teams like a Liquid, Astralis. This is an event where G2 can maybe pick up that confidence.
We're looking at more. They readied up, and now there's more issues for them.
Yeah, so hopefully we haven't got too many serious problems. But Mitch, when you come to a situation like this, and you've got a team like G2 that are just head and shoulders above B in terms of current performance, when you're big, I think you said earlier there might not be any pressure, but I think Big will put a little bit of pressure on themselves to win this opening best of one, right? Because if you win this, you're in a position now where you're playing against the other teams in your group, the Spirit and Hard Legion. That's a group that Big can certainly deal damage in. That's a group that you maybe even say Big move through in second. But if they don't beat G2, that puts them at risk, right? You have to play one of these crazy CIS teams that don't exactly, they're not exactly predictable, right? You can't just play your own play style and hope that it works. They're gonna bring the fight to you and be quite potent indeed.
That's a scary shot.
Yeah, we are getting right back into it though. The pauses are fixed and we're right to get ready. It's going to be G2 here on the T side. They've got a buy coming right back in. Big have actually gone for a little bit of partial investment on Nex and Tizian, taking the pistols instead of taking a rifle drop from Tabsun. And, well, they're going to be going into this one with the double out setup, the 1M4 and 2 5.7s.
Nice shots there by Hunter. He just pushed up the apartments and took down Tizian. Tabson burns alive as well. Things are not improving for Big after all these pauses. And G2 finding themselves now with a 2-man advantage. Xantara's practicing his juggling skills.
Just trying to get that up out of the area so they can maybe potentially save both. You can take this pick actually and go back, grab the M4 and find more success, but Smooya catches the head of Hunter in towards middle, so this round is still winnable for Big. It is not done yet, and with Xantaras holding this position, it's usually good for 1 kill. You take the pick, you fall back, and he set himself up with the M4 to deal more damage. So this could be very, very well done by Xantaras. He needs to land this first shot though, coming around the corner, can't hit it, and Nex is going to be sitting back with a 5.7. It's his time to shine. He's got the AWP in his hands instead of the M4. Not exactly the weapon he was hoping for, but we'll see if he can develop. He cannot do so. Jax takes his head off. Now it's only Smooya having to save that AWP into the next round. 13 on the board for G2. 3 away from victory in their opening best of 1. It was a slow start, but they're starting to really stretch their legs.
Wasn't ideal there.
I'm not a big fan of this buy from Big in this round. I think Tabsing certainly could have dropped over a rifle towards Tizian, who had 3.8k, I believe. So you could have had every player playing with a proper rifle.
Yeah.
But instead, we're in a situation where a couple of players have 5.7, someone has an M4, and yeah, Tabsing's got 2.8k left in the bank. But it doesn't matter because you've just lost that round convincingly. Xantaras has $0 in the bank, so it's not like you're going to get a full buy in this next one either.
I also don't know if Nex realized he had picked up the AWP when he ran over it. He was still playing with the 5.7 out, went into a smoke. I think if he knew he had an AWP, he probably would have just posted for them to cross into pit and could have found himself a frag. It's unfortunate, but things can get a little bit hectic. So
they do drop a rifle over from Smooya, so him saving was the most important part. When he saves, the buy's okay, right? Because you get that weapon in the Xantaras' hands, he has the utility and Kevlar available. If he doesn't save on over, though, then things do become quite troublesome. So they will get a full buy in here. Next will be able to pick up everything he needs, Tizian as well. And that's that loss bonus starting to come through. So there is one positive of losing.
Smooya's also top fragging at the moment, 18 kills on the board, with Xantaras just behind, well, a bit behind him on 13, which is odd to see. Over there on the T side, you're seeing Jax, 19 frags. He's been playing really, really well, obviously, not just generally when he was on the CT side, but also when it came down to clutch situations.
Well, getting right back into things. Big need to start posting round wins. They cannot afford to let this slip. G2, just 3 more needed. As Big will set up on the CT side with 2 players in towards the B-bomb side, playing a very standard setup, but it's different in towards A. They've sent Smooya aggressive this time towards the bottom of the stairs. Back up from Nex at the bottom of Boiler, but Jax deals with him early. Opening pick is G2's to play with, and now Smooya, he's going to be under more pressure as Jax clears the halls. Smooya on check so far. Tizian swings into Boiler, but Jax finds the headshot. Now Smooya about to peek up. At least he gets the trade. It's a 2-for-1 though. That'll favor G2 alongside Hunter finding that kill in towards top banana. G2 starts to spring in towards the B-bomb site. Good kill from Santeres. Hunter gone. And now it's a 2v3. Advantage certainly siding now with G2 as the trade's coming through. Santeres does his best, but it's still not enough. Smooya alone in the 1 versus 2 clutch. It's certainly doable for him, but it's not going to be easy, especially with no kit.
Big mistake made there, not checking Zantares. He's been anchoring over towards B a lot of the time. So I'm surprised they're not checking it, but I guess they thought they'd drag the rotates over. Smooya just creeping through slowly but surely. He's still got time if he can find a kill, but doing so is going to be very difficult. They've got a crossbar. Oh, what? He's out in the open. Kenny S is down. Now looking in towards Dark. Molotov as well. This is perfect. Amanek's being caught by it. Oh, it's so hard to spam that with an op, though.
Yeah, he's picked up an M4 and a kit, though. He looks back and finds the kill. Smooya, is there enough time for this defuse in the 1 versus 2? Hand on the head, milliseconds in it. He gets it at the last second, and it's Big with a 10th on the board. Smooya picks up the kit, finds the M4, and in the nick of time saves Big.
What was the logic there? There was no need to push out from the smoke. The bomb hadn't been tapped. You'd heard a weapon drop. I don't think those sounds are really confusable. Confusable.
I like that word, Rich.
I don't know if it's a word, but it is now. Like, look, the push out there from Amanek, I don't understand it, right? You're stuck there now. Yes, he can spam you and take you down, but it's far more likely that he gets you if you run out.
Well, under the pressure, decisions are made, and this time Big will pick themselves up a 10th. Smooya stepping up, and that's the kind of round that you fire you up, right? That's the type of round that changes the mentality in the team, and they need to post these rounds on the board. G2, they thought they had that one in the bag, but it slips away from them.
It's an absolutely huge clutch to be found by Big, because that should get the spirits up a little bit higher. Everybody feeling good. Smooya, as we said, he was top fragging. He's on 21 kills after that previous round, the 3K, closing it out on a clutch. If that doesn't stop the tilt, I don't know what will. As time ticks on, G2 are slowly moving up banana. They've got 3 players on their way. Kenny S up behind. He'll probably be the one grabbing the bomb as we leave Jax outside the A site. So many players have been lit up early on by nades, though. Nexa, Kenny, and Hunter, all around or below 50. Without really facing all too much combat. And it makes it much easier for the likes of Zantares and Tizian to make use of these SMGs when players are already lit up prior to the engagement.
40 seconds as well, so G2 really are slowing the pace down. In towards banana, they've got most of their players. The only one that's not there is Jax, and he's in towards mid, just making sure they don't get pushed from the backside. Hunter, the front man, he's on 26 HP. He's going to be tossed into the bomb site. Expected to find an opening. Smooya sits back, will drop Amanek, looking for a little bit more up on top of the coffins, and he's done that well. Jax will fall, taps it, able to pick up Hunter, and we're in a situation that's certainly favoring Big. They've got the 3-man advantage, and Smooya is just delivering shot after shot, 5 seconds, and Smooya backs away. It's only Nexa left, and he has to hide. He cannot die. He's got money in the bank, but doesn't want to die after time anyway. Will he line them up? That's one. Can he get a second? Smooya nearly falls, but Nexa only manages the one. And what a performance this is from Smooya. 24-9. He is delivering.
2 3Ks in a row. Delivering these rounds to Big. Good setup towards the bomb side of B, but really it all relied on him hitting those shots, and he caused enough of a distraction they didn't even think about the boost coming through.
And Banks was talking about this on the desk before, right? He was saying we need to see more out of Smooya. You know, he backs the UK, the player. Obviously, you have to, but the fact that he hasn't been performing too well, finally stepping up. This is exactly what Big need. It needs to be consistent, though. We'll see if it's enough to get them over the line. G2 feeling the pressure, tactical pause coming in. When you take a look at their money, it's enough to get a buy through, but it really feels like a last stand buy. If they lose this one, their money is going to be in a brittle position. The only player with money really left is Nexa.
This is the stressful moment now. 13-11. They've just finished talking over their game plan. And if it doesn't work out now, then the stress is going to be on for sure. The pressure will mount. And I think Big then have probably the favor, not just because they're on the CT side, but they'd be tied up 13-13 considering how the economy is. And they will have just strung together a series of rounds fairly convincingly. G2 are going to start to feel shut out, and this is where it starts, potentially the slowdown. Look at Big getting aggressive in apartments. Smooya's just pushed all the way through A-Apps. He was peeking down towards T, but decides he doesn't want to take that. Oh, but Hunter, my God.
Yeah, that's a solid entry. 2 kills, and he's still going forward. 31 HP, Big under a hell of a lot of pressure. G2 should have done enough already to potentially even force Big to just save these weapons over. I think that's the call made. You can see no one's even trying to go back over towards B. They've also got Jax who's just looking to try and cause problems over here on the traditional lurk. And this would be absolutely brutal if Big were to lose any of these players. They need every weapon to be carried over into the next one. G2 would be in a prime position to grab map point. Jax is going to start moving forward, knowing that finding these guns would be perfect for him, but he takes so much damage. Not a whole lot, 70, but Molotov certainly could cause a couple of problems. Once he takes damage, it's enough to force him away. He doesn't want to fully commit to it, knowing that he's most likely to crumble. Yeah, he's got a smoke ready that'll land on the hay bales. He's going to move in tandem with his teammates, ready to try and get rid of all of these guns. G2, it's definitely in their best interest to eliminate every weapon that Big currently hold. It will put them in a prime position. Tizian takes the hit damage, flash up. He's dropped by Jax. Could they find Nex as well? Of course they can. Jax with 2 kills, and only one player does save over. It is Smooya with the most expensive weapon, and so far the most impactful player. So this is what they need. Big. Still, pressure is on. G2 likely to take map point. And while they're calling the timeout again to make sure that they can discuss over what they need to do to get this on the board.
We need to see changes now to how that banana hold is working. Twice now we've seen G2 just barrel up there and destroy the Big defense. Like, he's even pushed up by a Molotov. That wasn't a fully intended push. He wasn't planning to take those peaks, and the timing just works out horrendously. The worst part about that is if you throw the Molotov, you expect the player to peek, and he still comes out and kills both of you.
Well, G2, Malik has had his say, and they're ready to get underway. 14-11, looking for 15. Investment from Big is not going to be excellent. We'll see the op carried over from Smooya. The rest are just pistols. Utility is available. Not in spades, though. A few smokes, a few flashes. We'll see if it's enough for Big to cause an upset. They need to just cause chaos across the map to allow these pistols to potentially find success. G2 leaning straight in towards an execute on the A bomb site. I like this. They know that Big aren't going to have the money or the utility to hold off these pushes. So if they go quickly, they do have Smooya though. And that's certainly a player that could hold them off. He's done that already. He's shown he's capable of doing so. And he's under pressure. Tabson finds one of the P250. Smooya dealt with. And the kills just ran in for G2. The only player left is Tizian. And he is overrun. Map point for G2. 1 away from victory. And while the last standby is coming in for Big, can they get it over the line? Can they pull it to overtime? It's going to be difficult for any team in this situation. But G2, they seem to have found success in the late stages of Inferno.
The read was definitely there from G2 in the previous round that, okay, the biggest weakness for Big has been down towards Banana, as well as that you combine it with the fact that you've just blitzed it and they're on pistols now. More than likely, there's going to be a heavier presence towards Banana, so they just straight up push A. You can see the confidence they're playing with right now. They're not letting anything get in their way, but now they slow the round down. We've seen this from them in the past, and we've seen it fail in the past. Not taking any immediate map control, not in quite the signature way that we've seen them over the last few rounds. As they have 2 towards Banana, 2 sitting outside of the A site, and the bomb just starting to regroup with Banana players to help out with a little bit of utility support in just a second. But Big, equally, you can see they're a little bit scared now to take map control. They don't want to push down Banana. They don't want to get aggressive mid or apartments because when they have, they've just been slapped out of the round.
And no one wants to be the player that gives away the advantage in a round like this. Not in this round. Exactly. G2 looking to try and finish things on the B bomb side. Tabson this time. Up from the coffins. We've seen Smooya deliver from this position. Tabson doing it as well. The no-scope lands on a second, but Centeras, the Turkish star, can he get it done? The bomb rolls to his feet, but he only manages 1. Advantage still siding with G2 though. With Big though, should I say, as Jax heads towards the back of the site. Jax stays there, but the bomb is up on top. This is going to be difficult for G2 to get this bomb back. It's in a really, really awkward position.
He's got it.
Kenny S sitting back in CT. They have picked up the bomb. Jax now has to get out of first oranges though, and that is a problem. So he has to rely on Kenny to make a little bit of space for him, but Kenny's going to be dropped by Smooya. Good kill coming through. Jax swings, looking for the spray down, but Nex capitalizes, and Big will stay alive. Big kills from Tabson, though, coming through. You know, that first kill, collecting that, the no-scope coming in the second. Instead of carrying after the first, he goes forward and takes the infight. And while Big are currently on 12, they need 3 more in a row with no mistakes to get them over the line just for overtime.
That's a big challenge.
It is a challenge for Big. You are correct in saying that, Mitch.
3 rounds in a row up against the buys that G2 are going to have. I mean, look, if they win this, at least then they get a reward, where G2 will probably be on a weaker investment and they'll fight for the 16-14. It's still a big ask. Hunter in the same position, but this time he doesn't go forward. The other Molly was close enough that he wouldn't have been able to swing. Big were ready for it as well, so good that he didn't, with 3 players towards Banana, but eventually they back off. Zantares moves forward and lobs a nade. It's going to hit Nexa, but only slightly. Hunter receives more damage and just hits the 50 HP mark. And as Big now, look, they've rotated back. They're playing now more standard than before, but they didn't get any control, which means as G2 push forward, they get all the way up to the bomb site before they realize it's a B hit.
Well, Tabson again having to deliver. Zantares only managed the 1 kill. Tabson in behind the smoke. This could be it for Big unless they can pull it off. Tabson cannot get anything. It's going to be a man advantage for G2, and they are in a position where they can finally end this map. It's been a battle, a brawl, and G2 might just be the team to come out on top. Next moves through, Tizian with a flashbang ready. Hunter and Kenny S finding the kills, and Tizian is dealt with. 16-12 is the final scoreline here on Inferno. G2, one of the favorites of the tournament. They do get it done. It was long, it was hard, but G2 finally make it happen.
Yeah, an absolutely huge game coming through by Jax. He was a clutch player for them. He opened up a lot of rounds, and I gotta say, he really impressed me with the performance he's just managed to put forward. But more surprising was how well Smooya just did, considering they've lost the game, considering it was Inferno as well, still managing to post up some serious frags on the defense.
Yeah, serious frags indeed. Smooya's performance has elevated quite a bit. Big. It's not the performance, it was not the win they were hoping for, but it's a decent performance from them. I think they'll be happy enough with the performance. They're starting to see improvements. They can definitely grow into this tournament. When you take a look at their group, you've got teams like Spirit, Hard Legion. These are teams that Big can certainly beat. So this is not the last we'll be seeing of Big, and I'm sure they can do more in this tournament moving forward. And yes, it's not the win, but it's definitely a convincing performance from them. And if they can continue this, they can certainly beat teams.
One thing I'm sure is going to be brought up on the desk is Nex's performance there, because I heard them talking about how he's one of these IGLs that can post a lot of frags, and that is certainly normally true, but right here, that wasn't really the case.
Yeah, and speaking of Nexa, right, he's going to be on the stage with Stunner.
Oh yeah, that's us. Hey guys, how's it going out there? I'm right here with who just won that matchup, G2. Congratulations, first and foremost, a big W to take right here at the Champions Cup in Malta. But I do have to ask, you win 2 pistols, right? That should make things significantly easier, but it seems like there was still a little bit of struggle, no?
Yeah, we kind of had a slow start, you know. We came from the US, we're still a little bit sleepy and tired, so we had this like slow start. Our communication wasn't really that good in the first like 10 or so rounds, I would say, but then we kind of woke up. I mean, when you're at this level, you can't afford to sleep the whole game, you know, otherwise you just get, you lose to a coach and stand in.
That's a spicy one, but I think the word you're looking for is jet lag. Is that right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a long road for you guys, and we are looking to close out things here strong in Malta. Let me go ahead and ask you guys about perhaps the CT side there. You saw about 8 rounds go in the way of Big. Why were you having a little bit of a trouble answering that?
We weren't really doing stuff we agreed upon doing before the game. You know, we didn't do like our plays, our moves correctly. We weren't doing information plays. We were just letting them do their own thing. They were executing. They had really strong executes, like really good pathing, really good fraggers as well. So once we started like getting in their face and blocking them, like pushing second mid, like going aggressive banana, flanking in behind, you know, then we started winning rounds. And lucky for us, we managed to like bring the half close, which, you know, we felt really comfortable even with the 7 rounds on City side, because we know that our T side is actually really good for us.
Well, I mean, we could talk about Lucky. I'd rather talk about Jax, though. It seems like he was having a stellar performance. But moreover, Smooya, you guys seemingly had a hard time finding an answer to him. What was going on there? Is he just playing lights out?
Well, he was just always in right positions. Like wherever we would hit, he would be there. He had really good positioning. And like if you're an opper and you don't get flashed off, it's basically free kills for you. So
run with it while you can. Well, look, man, you guys are stacked up now against Hard Legion. You do find yourself in a best of 3. Do you think it gets easier for you from here?
I hope so.
Cool. We'll leave it on that note. We're going to kick it over to the desk. We can break this thing down just a little bit more. Thank you so much.
Lucky could be the optimal word there, Trace. Thank you very much for that one. He's continuing to line all of these ones up for us to enjoy on the desk, isn't he, boys?
Yeah, it's very nice.
Home run, eh?
Every time.
No, but I think Nexa put it really, really well there. I mean, the early parts of that first half, yes, G2 very, very static and letting Big Do execute. You know, any given team, if they're just let to do whatever they want, execute-wise, you're going to have a tough time. It was exactly that second mid push that kind of ignited G2 into propelling themselves into this game.
Yeah.
Second half, you know, you kind of saw G2 getting map control way too easy, especially towards that banana. A bunch of times you saw them play it in a manner where they kind of left one of their guys in an island, meaning that they kind of, like, the philosophy you should kind of have for banana, if you're going to play aggressive, then may as well just throw both players there and play super aggressive and make sure that you put yourself in some type of a situation that's winnable. But instead, you know, time and time again, they would lose a player, and then the other one would be just on B, and then you have no map control. You're in a 4-on-5 situation. It's mega tough to try to come out on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, the rounds that G2 won on their T have just looked so easy. Too easy, right? That's not supposed to be. We have here Jack's on the screen, 27 frags. He had 10 multi-kills. Also, Hunter, we need to talk about him and the banana play specifically. 6-1 in opening duels, and these are key rounds where he just takes on, taps in with the AWP, or even better, eliminates straight up 2 opponents just to make his way to the B side. That just cannot happen. You're not supposed to win rounds like that. So at the end of the day, I mean, Big, they made it competitive. As Stella said, G2 won both pistol rounds. They converted both of these situations, which is a 6-0 lead for both halves. Yet 16-12, so that was competitive.
And that 6-0 lead, right? We don't see that anymore very often. It doesn't happen that often. They still get it done. But there was a point where we were thinking Big might come back into this, and I'm going to point out straight away, I was worried about Smooya coming into this. This guy was playing lights out. He was back to form of what we know he can do.
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of two sides to the story. I mean, at the same time, G2 allowed Big to win a couple of these rounds where they necessarily should not have won.
True.
Like the Smooya 1-on-2 is a great example. Player pushing through a smoke where he could have just disconnected his USBs and won the round, basically. Yeah. On the other hand, you have to give a lot of credit to Jack as well. He closed out 2 really important rounds in that first half to give G2 those 7 rounds to stay competitive.
When we were talking about being competitive in all of this, it's Big looks competitive now, but when it gets to the best of 3s, that could be the troublesome time for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, these are some alarming signs, right? First of all, I think that their T-side on Inferno was great. Granted, I'm not sure that they're going to transfer that to any other map.
That's
it looked
my
like
issue,
their
yes.
executes, specifically their executes, were on point, and really G2's defense, when they were on really defensive and waiting for them, they couldn't do nothing. The opening were all Big's way, very clearly onto the bomb side, so that's great. Let's see if they can do that on different maps. Now, the other problem is their CT side. The way they approach it, as you said, way too sloppy. You cannot allow people to have a 1v1 and then another 1v1 with your 2 people holding the side, like it was the case on Banana. So is that how it's going to be for all the defense on the map? Because that's not going to be okay. It doesn't matter that they're going to play against another team in G2. Anyone can exploit that. It was too easy. Again, I repeat, Hunter had a magnificent game, granted, but it should not have been that easy for him to open up rounds like this.
And this is the thing for me, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, it's a good overall scoreline, but if you're watching that game, you can see where Big was given a bit more room, and that's why I'm very nervous going into these best of 3s. But G2, as they slowly got back into it, they should be one of these teams, right, that we're priming here to be quite easily to the playoffs, quite easily to take it maybe all the way to the finals.
I think also that's what happened here on that game is a show of resilience on the side of G2. Because I was worried when it was 7-3 for Big, and at that point it looks like rounds are not competitive at all. It's very one-sided. G2 are saving weapons, at least 3 gun rounds in a row. They just abandon ship and say, okay, you know what, we lost the 2 entries, see ya, we're gonna keep our guns. And there is not even a battle at that point. Big are completely in control, and yet they stay calm, they stay in the game, they keep to the plan, they find a solution, as Nexa said, they start being a little bit more aggressive. You see Jack shine in. So I like that. I like that sign. I like that G2 are somehow able to get battered at the beginning, but still fight, come back and find solutions. I think that's a very good sign going into the playoffs.
And that's a very good sign from considering the communication we talk about, right? When you're behind, it can get more scrappy, it can become more of a problem. We got 2 more best of 3s for today, guys, and we're going to take a look at the schedule to see exactly which games we're going to be having. So next up is going to be Furia versus the Movistar Riders. You can see the one on your screen from Group B. It's going to be Hard Legion going up against G2. So it's going to be an interesting couple of games ahead of us here, especially with the Furia versus Movistar Riders. I think that can be quite a close one.
It could be spicy for sure.
yeah.
I mean, interesting to see in the terms of you have Steel playing against some Brazilian friends over there, and then Furia on this bit of a journey here, trying to revitalize themselves after a great early part of the year, and then kind of dropping off a little bit. So yeah, but a big game for both teams.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think for Fury, it's one of them ones where if you can get a good showing here, it's that confidence boost to take you into 2020 after your year slowed down quite a bit. But we're not going to slow anything else down here. We are going to go to a break, and when we come back, those best of threes are going to be starting, so you don't want to go anywhere.